Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. We take you straight to Edo State, what is looking like a political feud between Governor Obaseki and his deputy, Mr. Philip Shaibu. Is there an impeachment plan on Mr. Shaibu? Well, there is Justice Ahmed Mohamed order from his court on the Federal High Court in Abuja, stopping the move by the Edo State Governor, Governor Obaseki, to impeach his deputy, Philip Shaibu, over their irreconcilable differences. The judge issued a temporary order while ruling in a motion on notice filed by Mr. Shaibu, praying the court to stop the move to ease him out of office by his principal. In the ruling, Justice Mohamed directed the parties in the suit to maintain status quo. What exactly is going on between the governor and his deputy? Why would Governor Obaseki want to remove his deputy? What is going on? Tonight, let's get to talk about these issues. I'm being joined by Mr. Mwante Adaze, who is a lawyer and a former communications commissioner in Edo State. He's live here with our Abuja studio. And we have Mr. Olu Martins, who is the director, Canvassers for Democracy and Rule of Law. He joins us virtually from Benin City. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us tonight. Let's begin with you. You are on the side of Mr. Philip Shaibu. It's interesting that you've abandoned your former principal, Governor Obaseki. Well, let's get straight to the matter. What is going on? What makes Mr. Shaibu think that Mr. Obaseki wants to impeach him?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Sheon. Good evening to our viewers at home. You said I'm on the side of Shaibu. I'm always on the side of the oppressed. And what inspired some of us to support the governor in 2020 was when the impression was created that he was being oppressed in the APC, which made him to leave the party. The man dies in any man who fails to speak up against any form of injustice. The governor, just as the deputy, were elected on the joint ticket. And I think there are 4 factual points I will make, and I'll make those points seriatim. Before the PDP primaries, I have it as a matter of fact and on good authority that the governor wanted his deputy to run for the Edo North senatorial tickets. And the deputy governor was approached by a former governor asking him to run. He had not indicated any interest to run, and as such, he declined that request. And who was he to run against? Comrade Adams Ushomole, a mutual benefactor of both the deputy governor and the governor. And from the time the governor noticed that the deputy governor was not ready to run, his attitude towards him changed. And of course, as a former member of the House of Reps after the elections, the deputy governor was invited to attend the inauguration of the current National Assembly. And of course, as a matter of courtesy, he exchanged pleasantries with the former governor, Comrade Adams Ushomole, and which this particular incident did not, augur well with the governor. And that same day in the evening, most of the social media, influencers of the governor started attacking the deputy governor. This I know. I mean, launch all manners of invectives on the sitting deputy governor. And the third factual point is that there was a meeting at the governor's residence where the issues of principal offices would be resolved. First, the deputy governor was not invited to this meeting. And of course, before now, it was the deputy governor and I who coordinated all the cases of the PDP candidates, from trial court to the Supreme Court. Having played that role, Courtesy demanded that he was supposed to be invited to that meeting. When he got to wind, he felt that maybe it was out of inadvertence he was not invited. He went to the residence where this meeting was to take place. The deputy governor of Edo State was turned back by the governor's security details. After several attempts to get at the governor, and after several harassments, the deputy governor had to go back to his house. That is a third factual point. And remember that the deputy governor, having supported the governor, has a right to run for the office of governor. And of course, recently, his body language indicates that he's interested in running for the ticket, that's a governorship ticket, of the PDP. And the moment you identify with him as a friend, you are tagged an enemy. And that was why I left the PDP, because I was being witch-hunted. The governor told several individuals that his grounds with me is that I became close to the deputy governor. this was the same person that we all rallied around to support, the deputy governor. Everybody would rally around to support the governor. So when it came to the head that, the deputy governor, there was plots to impeach him. And we have facts, there are factual points.
Who are those planning to impeach him?
Of course.
Is it in the House of Assembly or where?
The governor has instigated that plot. 12 members of the House of Assembly were approached, right? And you know, amongst the House of Assembly, there are 1 or 2 loyalists of the deputy governor who got wind of this plot. And you know, they need 16 members. So 4 other members were to be sourced from the 8 APC members. But when they now saw that the plot will leak once the APC people are aware, there was a final plan for a meeting to hold on the 6th of this month in Abuja, where 4 members' signature would have been forged, the impeachment plot to be arranged, and if the deputy governor was not comfortable with whatever had happened in the House, he could go to court. And you know, when you impeach a deputy governor, it's very difficult to bring him back because the judicial process is very long.
All right. Just for a moment, let me allow Olu Martins, who is virtually with us. You are on the, Reverend Olu Martins, you are on the side of the governor. How do you react? What is the fact from the side of the governor? Is he planning to remove his deputy, as it's been stated by Mwanta?
Thank you very much, Shaibu. And let me thank you for your very topical issues. Patrick Henry was the one that said that the collective freedoms of the people cannot be guaranteed except the actions and inactions of government are shrouded in secrecy. So we must appreciate the input of the fortune of the estate. That's why I never miss your program, because you have contributed to social development. Let me say I'm not on the side of the governor in the manner of speaking. I'm on the side of truth. The Latin Martin is the same. Reps ipsa loquito. I don't speak for people. I stay with the issues. And it is important for us to not to dwell on conjectures and suppositions, because some of the things my brother is saying there are imaginations. It is the law. He's a lawyer, and the lawyer says suspicion, no matter how it is, it's not admissible in court. There are no evidence to this thing that is saying. Anybody can come on here and trump up any charges to say the governor was at a meeting or the deputy governor was at a meeting. There is no evidence to it. Secondly, why would the governor want to impeach his deputy when he has a few, maybe just about 16 months to the end of his administration? I know people are surprised, because I can tell you that the most expressive governor in Nigeria is the deputy governor of Edo State. And I'm not being studiously lazy, but I'm not too sure that I know who the deputy governor of Delta State is or who the deputy governor of Rivers State is. But the whole of Nigeria knows that Edo State has a deputy governor that has been given the latitude and the opportunity to express himself to the fullest. And we have seen that in 2 instances. Number 1 instance was when the governor and his deputy moved to the PDP. In fact, the crux of the crisis that the governor had to the PDP is that the PDP, as at that time he moved in, wanted to give the governor a deputy. And the governor said, this man has been with him, we will sink or swim together. And there was a rift between the party and the governor because of his stance with the governor. We remember in no distant times, sir, where the very voracious former governor of Rivers State made very unpalatable statements about the deputy governor of Edo State. In fact, he said, "Who is your father?" And we remember how the governor stoutly stood for him and said, "Look, this is my deputy governor, and he has all of my support to do the things that he's doing." So we are surprised. The whole of the sports festival was within the purview of the deputy, governor. So the deputy governor in this Edo State has had an opportunity to express himself to the fullest. So we are surprised. Edo people are finding this a little bit surprised. I think, if you ask me, what is happening is that is preemptive. I was student union president, and I know that at times I heard from Bush Radio that people are trying to do something. So we will, as comrades, we will go out and quickly cry because we are trying to be disruptive. We are trying to, distract your process. So, impeachment process is not clandestine. And I'm telling you that impeachment over what offense? Do you just impeach a deputy governor, like that? What is the offense for impeachment? Is the impeachment process a one-process thing? There's no impeachment notice before the House of Assembly. That's why I say let's not dwell on conjectures. Let's dwell on what the deputy governor has approached the court for. And what he has approached the court for, there's none of it that is evidential as far as we are concerned. Everybody has a right to aspire. Is it not even magnanimous of the governor that at that particular time he had offered the deputy governor a senatorial position? The deputy governor of Rivers State is in the Senate as we speak. All right, the governor is trying to be fair, and he's trying to say, as we speak, I am not even aware that my deputy governor wants to be governor, but supposedly wants to be governor. The immediate past governor of Edo State is an ESA command. The minister designate is an ESA command. The present deputy governor, Shaibu, is an ESA command. There are several senatorial districts. Is it not fair on the part of the governor to say, you know what? So let us even concede. But do not agree that the man has expressed his ambition. Is it not fair on the governor to say, let us look at some other senatorial districts? I'm not even too sure that the governor has informed his principal of his aspiration, which he has a right to. For him being in aspiring, he has no right to disrupt the system because these things are unknown to the Edo people.
Well, let's clear, and I want to ask you two quick questions, and I'll allow Mr. Adaze to respond to some of the things that you've said. So it's a fact that Governor Obaseki and Comrade Shaibu are not in a friendly terms as we speak. Is that a fact?
We got to know by the papers that came out from the court. We didn't know this because 2 weeks ago, the deputy governor was at ESCO meeting. The attendance of the ESCO meeting is available for the media at the appropriate time. Pictorials and videos of the ESCO meeting just a fortnight ago before the deputy governor traveled to America. A journey that his principal is not even aware of. But that's a discussion for another day. So we are not, it came to Edo people as a surprise. It is the deputy governor that is telling us that he has a rift with his principal. The Edo people do not know.
So let me ask, I said I have two quick questions because I need Mr. Adaze to respond. Is it also true that there were a few incidents that have happened which a lot of those cabinet members, what I heard and what I gathered, the fact that, for example, a door in which Comrade Shaibu has always come through, which now the deputy governor was blocked and it was told that that's exclusive for the governor. Are you aware of that instance? That there's some hostilities recently against the deputy governor. Is it possible?
Well, this is what in philosophy and logic we call argumentum misericordia. That is the fallacy of hasty generalization. Because you more provide evidence. We are in the information age where whatever you do is captured either by smartphone or some particular device. Anybody can imagine, anything. As long as there's no evidence to it that shows what the governor is claiming, I will conclude that what is happening is the Blighton woof. Because as we speak now, the Edo people do not know that there's a rift. They, as far as they are concerned, the romance within the governor and his
Reverend Martins, are you from the same local government with Mr. Obayagmo? Because it's just something that I need to check the dictionary.
I'm an Edo man by birth and by inclination. We have a penchant for grandiloquence. We know book, know the carry last.
All right, just a moment. Mr. Adaze, can you respond to some of the issues that have been raised about your friend, Comrade Shaibu?
I will quickly correct this impression. It gives this impression and it says we. Who is the we? First, he's not the Commissioner for Communication or Information. He's not the special advisor to the governor of media. And the governor has a very wide retinue, recently appointed the chief press secretary. A matter as important as this, you don't just bring somebody, because I'm sorry to say the word reverend, a lot of people say they are reverend. I mean, if you are an advisor to the governor, you can talk ex cathedra. I'm talking because I was in government. I've seen instances where the governor would tell his deputy to go and call me a commissioner. That is an abnormal. It is an anathema. The office of deputy governor is as good as the office of governor under section 186 of the Constitution because they were jointly elected. The qualifications are the same. The procedure for appointment is the same. The procedure for impeachment is the same.
Is it also
and
true,
as such,
Amanta, that the governor does not approve or does not give a tacit approval to Comrade Shaibu's ambition of wanting to become governor, and that's where the trouble is.
But again, the question is, in 2020, this was a man who stood by you even against...
Is it true that he wanted his approval and he's not getting it?
It's not a matter of his approval. The fact that he wanted him to go to the Senate was a distraction, right? Was to say, I'm not in support, right? Because he didn't tell you that...
Is there any agreement between both men that is going to take over from him?
No, there may not be any agreement because the right to aspire is free. Shaibu is not a slave, he's a freeborn. He has a right to aspire. What happens thereafter is a different kettle of fish. And again, I take very serious exception for him to have said that it was without the governor's permission, the deputy traveled abroad. He went on his official leave, his annual leave. The governor at times would travel for months. The deputy, when the governor traveled recently, was away for over a month. It was the deputy governor that was in charge. Though there was no official communication, the governor was away for 1 month on leave. So if the deputy governor is away on an official leave, which the governor is aware of, and he now claims that the governor is not aware, it shows there's a rift. And that's what he's denying.
What do you think is the way out? Because we've seen both men behave like twin brothers. We've seen both men related very well. And it's looking like a deja vu. We've seen the squabble between former Governor Adams Oshiomhole and Mr. Obaseki. Both men were friends even before Governor Obaseki became governor, and they fell apart. Now it's happening again. What do you think in your mind is the way out?
Have you never wondered that a day will come when Adaze and Wanta will sit here, not on the side of Obaseki? It is simple, not far-fetched. The governor does not know how to manage relationships. And for me, ingratitude is the bottom line. Because when you look at the history, in 2016, Oshiomhole supported him to be governor. He became governor. He fell out with Oshiomhole and every member of the APC, which of course culminated in his disqualification. Throughout this period, it's not that Oshiomhole offended Shaibu, but Shaibu was loyal to him. So if somebody who supported you to be governor the first time, the second time, now says, I'm interested in this office, which is not a monarchical system where you say it is by inheritance. If you have the power as governor, within the PDP, you can make that impossible. So he has a right to aspire, and you cannot now use impeachment as a tool to prevent him, because that is the oppression we fought against, and we're also going to fight against that same oppression now.
Let me allow Reverend Olu Martins, your final thought. What do you think is the way out of this? These two men have been friends, and they say when two elephants fight, the grass suffer. The grass here might be the general people of Edo State and the governors in the state. What is the way out?
Well, first of all, let me say that and Andrew Ewata is not the spokesperson for the deputy governor. The deputy governor has a chief press secretary, because he's asking my stake. I'm an Edo man by birth and by inclination, according to Jero's metamorphosis. And like Ojukwu said, the death of every Nigerian affects me because I'm involved, because I'm a Nigerian, I'm involved. So I don't like all of those aspersions, because it's beginning to look like Andrew Ewata is for hire. A few weeks ago, he was on AID speaking for Kenny Maswag. Now he's here speaking for the deputy governor, who has a chief press secretary, talking about ingratitude. We're aware that the governor, I have the picture, the governor sponsored the fourth wedding of Andrew Ewata sitting there with you. He made him commissioner from SSA. There are a few people who have risen from SSA to become commissioner. He moved from SSA to become commissioner within a very, very short time. I'm displeased when people think that public office should be used as a reward, quote and unquote, for work done. I am here.
Gentlemen, we are totally out of time. I wanted you to give us a way forward.
Appointment, and I am not trying wolf.
Yeah, what do you think is the way forward? We need to close now.
Opportunity is weak people that look for position. Weak people look for position. Leaders look for opportunity to serve. Till tomorrow, I am still on rallies. I am still on protests. I'm not shouting. I work for the governor. I have not had any appointment, but as long as the governor is delivering the dividends of democracy, I am appointed. So the way out is for the governor. The way out is for the deputy governor to take it easy. He has a right to his. There's no point in rocking the boat. If he thinks he can't work with this,
gentlemen, we are totally out of time.
Then he can resign for public.
Reverend Olu Martins, thank you so much, gentlemen. We're totally out of time.
This is imagination.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.